what helped them propel.
Well, it'll be really fun too once the cameras go on and we start talking further to just also highlight some of the friendships you made and what those women are doing now and how it just transformed your life too and has really been a part of your personality and your individuality and all those great things.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. How's it look? Hey friends, welcome to the 4th episode of The Juicy Details. We're so excited. Thank you for coming back. I know I've gotten some comments from a few of you out there that have been listening to every podcast or live podcast thus far, so I'm really thankful to have a following. Small one, but it's still one. Our first episode in the beginning of January was with Jeff Tang. He's an Emmy Award-winning journalist turned entrepreneur, and it was a great conversation. If you're looking to listen to something that's going to help encourage you to find the best version of yourself, I would definitely check that one out. Episode 2 was with Dana Lewis, and she is the author of a chapter called Stop Faking Fine, has a podcast called Stop Faking Fine, and really encouraged us how to figure out how to live a healthier us. Last week, we had Allison Williams of Place, and she talked a little bit about putting our cell phones down and being a part of our communities and how we can build communities that are meaningful. And this week, I am so excited to have Lee Taylor Sigfusson on the show.
You got
Lee,
it.
say hello.
Hi, how are you?
So Lee is Miss New York 2008, and then she went on to compete in Miss America in 2009. She also is Pi Beta Phi.
Didn't wear my gear. I should have.
Yeah, so we met briefly, but then we met at a tailgate at UVA when I just saw a Pi Phi sign and walked right up to them and said, "Hi, I'm a Pi Phi too." So we're sisters, and here we are.
Here we are.
So tell us. I mean, where do we even start at the beginning? Tell us everything about yourself.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, no, we always start with a shot, actually.
Oh, a shot of
Yes.
Lumi. Of Lumi. Mom, I'm not drinking quite yet.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To health and wellness.
So my mom became involved in the Miss Virginia organization when I was a little girl. And with two of my favorite people, Linda Haas and Tiffany Haas. And they're just like, how do I explain it? They were the biggest encouragers, the moms, the ones that would just push and push and push the people to their limit. But you saw
how old
people
were you?
prevail. I started probably watching them around 8 years old.
Okay, so not like JoBenet Ramsey young.
No,
Which is
but I
horrible.
wasn't competing.
Oh,
I
okay,
was
okay.
I was
Yeah.
watching them do
Okay.
this and work with these women that were a part of the Miss Virginia organization.
Okay.
And it inspired me, truly, it really did. At the end of the day, thinking, okay, if these people are achieving these things post Miss Virginia, post Miss Hampton Newport News, which is what they were preparing them for, then
Yeah.
the sky's the limit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, so what? So are these women? Are they run the Virginia pageant still to this
No,
day?
it's preliminaries. So
Okay.
they're
Tell
so
us-
I
so let's
so
start-
I have to.
I don't know what-
Start back at the beginning.
Yeah,
Okay,
very
so
beginning.
to compete at the state level,
Yes.
you have to win a preliminary.
Okay.
Which is oftentimes where you live.
and how do you
Within
even get to a preliminary?
You just sign up.
Oh, okay.
You're
All
like,
right, great.
yeah, I'd just like to sign up. So you sign up for a preliminary, and then you compete at the state level. If you win, obviously, the preliminary.
Okay.
Then obviously you go on to Miss America. But it really is it's a step stool process, I should say.
Okay, so when you go, let's dissect it a little bit. So when
Okay.
you go to preliminaries,
Yeah.
what do you compete in? Like, what do you have to do?
Okay, so
What do you have to wear? Do you have to do swimsuit competition? in
Oh, yeah.
preliminaries?
Well, not anymore, but you used to.
Oh, they took that
Yes,
away?
they took it away. It's
Oh my goodness.
completely gone. So
We can have that conversation down here.
that's good stepstone. You compete in interview, which has changed in time, but has always had an opening, an 8.5 or so minute interview, and then a closing statement. So things maybe you weren't able to get in that you wanted to be able to speak about. Although that's another story. You should always be able to get in what you need to speak about.
Yes.
And then you close it up.
Okay.
You have on-stage question.
Yep.
You have talent.
Okay.
Which used to be 40%. I should say that. Now
Okay,
it's
wait, so what was the
25%.
What was the scoring breakdown then?
Oh my gosh, my year I forget because they started to really change things. But talent, I believe, used to be 40%.
40?
No, and then interview was the other largest, which I believe was 30%.
Okay.
And then 15.
Okay.
I believe that is how it worked. And so those are, now I explained the other two parts of competition, which are evening gown and swimsuit.
Okay, evening gown
now
and swimsuit.
swimsuit no longer exists.
What did they replace it with?
Fitness
Oh.
outfits.
So I could wear my Lululemon pants?
No, they had them in rhinestoned shorts and crop tops this year,
Oh, wow.
which was a choice.
Okay. I didn't watch this year's, which I should have ahead of this interview, but I did read about the woman who won, which was
Yes.
phenomenal, Miss Colorado, right? And she is an Air Force pilot.
Which is unbelievable.
I mean, what a badass.
I know. She's
Yeah.
crazy. She's super smart. She's at Harvard, I believe, and
Yeah.
she's doing incredibly well. But I do believe the narrative for the pageant shifted pretty significantly with her because the dynamic that people have, the ownership has changed, and we do want to give her all of the credit for what she does. I mean, she's literally fighting for our country.
Yes.
But there have been women changing the narrative of Miss America for decades. And like Kate Shindle in '98, I believe it was her whole platform was promoting AIDS activism and sitting down with people that were, how would I even put that? I mean, she was sitting down with people where it's kind of like Princess, it sounds kind of crazy to say, but like Princess Diana, who was sitting down with these people and
Listening to their problems.
not even just their problems, but just being a voice for them, and also people wouldn't offer hand, truly, an actual hand. And
Yes.
Kate did that, and she was Miss America, which, I mean, I do think changes the entire narrative of what's going on, or rhetoric, or however you would want to put it. But I do think there have been women that have done this step by step by step by step, and this is amazing where we are, but we have to also reflect on the women that represented us before, I think.
Yes, for sure. So let's get to you and back to you. At 8 years old, you started learning and about learning about these pageants in Hampton Roads, Virginia.
Yeah.
Where your dad is a famous football coach. He has the third most winning records for high school football in the entire United States. Mike Smith. So we had to plug him for a minute. Go coach.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So did he coach you at all too? I mean, let's talk about your talent. Did your dad help you with your talent, or?
My dad coached me in Powder Puff for
I love
junior
that.
and high school, or junior and senior year of high school.
You were in Powder Puff football junior and senior year of high school.
Oh, and we won both years.
Okay, wait. So Miss New York also plays football.
No, just Powder Puff, like for our junior,
still-
senior, but he coached us, which was so much fun. Yeah, so he's competitive. That's where I get a little bit of my competitive edge. I think I get a lot from my mom too. She's pretty competitive as well, and yeah,
She's also beautiful. Your mother.
she's
Gorgeous, put together.
Always.
Should have been Miss Virginia.
She should have. She didn't try. If she did, I'm sure she would have. She is.
Wait, so when you were 8, you started learning about these pageants. So when did you start competing? And talk to us about that whole process.
Sure. So I started competing around 10.
Okay.
And my mom let me do one a year.
Just one.
One a year.
Okay.
It was really to help boost my self-confidence
Okay.
and my ability to obviously to speak in front of people, but also my talent and just to relieve general social anxiety, I would say.
Yes.
And then it grew from there. I joined a theater company that I absolutely adored. So I started to get the outlet there. It almost felt like that was enough for a little bit as well, without having to compete once a year. And then I started really competing when I was in high school and then college.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about those competitions and what was your talent?
Yes, of course. So I sang. And,
I saw that. Tell us about your singing. Maybe you could sing us a song.
No, absolutely not. Long time ago. I was happily a Virginia Belle here at UVA, which I loved my time there, but I haven't really sung since then or since Miss America, except in the car with my kids. I would say competing was so much fun.
Yes.
It was obviously different in each state, I should say. Virginia, it is a full-time job. When you compete and you win, you are Miss Virginia. That is you get an apartment, you get a car. You are paid for your appearances, every appearance. At least that's how it was. So now I don't know how it is now, but I believe it's still that way. For
Wow.
Miss New York, I had a full-time job, and I was 22 years old, living in New York City, just scraping my money together to get places, and I would actually literally leave a venue with giving a speech with Hillary Clinton and go home on the train with this box that I have here with
let's show your crown.
my crown box, and then
So you just be riding the subway with your crown box?
Here,
Let's see your crown.
Oh, sorry. I would just, take my crown box home and, just in my big bag from the day. I would go from work and go. And so my days were really different.
What were you working? Where were you working? Your company would let you go and make these Miss New York appearances?
No, so that was after, it was after hours. I mean, it was like 5 o'clock. I would leave. I would do that. And then I would go to the gym, and then I would go home, and then it just was a cyclical thing. So my days were super different. So I cannot compare both of the states I competed in. Not that they didn't work. They worked really hard. Miss Virginia's Tara Wheeler my year. I know she just traveled across the whole state constantly. So, but it was
run for governor.
It was a very different feeling to be
Yes.
Miss New York than it was what I had grown up seeing.
Yes, I mean, it sounds that way. So, Miss New York didn't get any stipend at all, or were you?
We got a bit of a stipend, but a lot of the events that I did were, I was at a full security prison in Staten Island, talking to these prisoners.
Women prisoner or male prisoners?
Male prisoners.
That's bizarre they had you go talk to
It was awesome. It was so
Tell us about it.
awesome. And going in and just talking, really having a genuine conversation from someone that is, new in their environment, which is lovely for them most of the time.
Yes.
And then someone's father had passed away and he wasn't able to go home, and he talked about his story about not being able to go home and actually be with his mom, who was still at home with his kids. Meeting some of these people, I shouldn't say these people, meeting these people who are awesome, good, really genuinely good human beings that are trying to rehabilitate themselves, was impactful for me. You walk through life thinking sometimes it's so easy, and it's not for a lot of people, obviously.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That was an awesome appearance, or I should say appearance, but visitation. I don't even know what you call that. And they sent me a card and flowers at Miss America.
That's
that
nice.
group of inmates. It was a
Yeah.
group of inmates, and they put money together to do that. That was
nice of them.
Well, it makes you feel like you've done something and had conversations that matter.
For sure. So, when you went from Virginia and while you were at UVA, you were competing in Virginia pageants, but one a year like you used to, or many?
In Virginia, once I was in college, I I did 2 preliminaries. My first year that I competed for Miss Virginia, I won my second. And then the next year, I won the first, and then I was third runner-up both times at Miss Virginia. Then was third runner-up at Miss America, but that's, you know.
Virginia's like a hard
lucky
state.
number 3, I guess.
I mean, that's better. I was telling Lee Taylor that when I thought that it'd be a good idea, I had a neighbor that was Miss Kansas back in the day. I mean, this was like in the 40s, like a long, long time ago. And she was like, "Oh, Hillary, you should be in a pageant." And so for her, I signed up for one, and my mom drove me to Orlando, Florida. And, you know, I had my ball gown. My talent was playing the clarinet. I'm horrible at it. But,
No.
I walked in and saw these, like, really just confident, glamorous, smart people all around me. And I was just like this. I about-faced and walked out. I was like, "Mom, I'm not here for this. I'm not going to."
But you're confident, glamorous, and so put together. I do think that we tend to sit on, I mean, I was told, or I felt so much so in elementary or middle school and high school, I was 6th to 12th grade school, that I was average. You know, and what makes me stand out? Well, I don't know. What are we trying to find out from 6th to 12th grade? That's a lot. Yes. And they asked me when I was Miss New York to come back to my high school and speak at the cum laude ceremony, and asked me. I didn't even get an award at my high school or it was my middle school as well. I never got an award. And so the whole feeling was like, this is great. So I talked to kids, not just girls, but also boys, about what it feels like to not to be a failure, but what does it feel like to feel average? It's okay. Like we all have our strengths and we have to find them, but it doesn't mean being Miss New York. It doesn't mean getting a scholarship to play baseball in college or swim or whatever it is. We are all capable of making our impact on this world without feeling, that stretch. So I went and I talked about failure, and then I became an honorary cum laude. So now I'm putting that on my resume forever.
I mean, that's a really powerful message that you're capable of being great, even though you might seem like you're average in school. And you went on and won Miss New York after you were Miss Brooklyn, so that was your regional competition.
Correct, yeah.
And then you went on to be Miss New York, and then you get to compete in Miss America. And you guys, Lee Taylor told me the statistic before the show, and why don't you tell us about Miss America?
You're more likely to have a son compete in the Super Bowl than you are to have a daughter compete at Miss America.
Okay, so you are more likely, moms out there, to have a son compete in the Super Bowl. So, Chris Long, you have 2 sons and a daughter, and then have a daughter compete in Miss America. So, Lee Taylor, you went from feeling like you were an average student to go on and be in beyond the Super Bowl of being an empowered woman and above average and just crushing life. So that is so great and powerful. I mean, you just went and did it. I'm so proud of you. I'm so lucky to call you my sister, my bye-bye sister.
I don't know. It didn't feel like it happened like that. It was a lot of, and I don't want to say losing, but it was a lot of taking blows and saying, my mom, I will never forget, my mom told me, when I moved to New York, I said, I don't want to compete anymore. And she said, well, you must just not want it that badly. Well, then what puts fire under your butt like that?
She knew how to get you.
I'm like, I'm going to show you. And then, I competed and I was lucky enough to win Brooklyn and then move forward. But it wasn't without adversity. The Brooklyn, they have mayors so Brooklyn mayor or president or whatever, Marty Markowitz, he was like, well, she's not even from Brooklyn.
I could see how. I mean, I was,
It was
a
all
little
over the
confused why a Virginian won, because I moved to New York in 2008 too, and yeah, I followed you then. I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Virginia girl wins Miss Brooklyn onto Miss New York.
Totally. So you imagine, though, this is, well, at the time, it was 18 to 24-year-olds were
You're
able
like
to
a
compete.
carpetbagger.
Yeah, but the opposite.
Okay.
Carpetbaggers were going south.
Yeah.
I was going north. But I mean, it was 18 to 24-year-olds, and so what am I going to do? I'm moving to New York City. I was a theater major.
Yes.
I wanted to be up there. And so I moved, and you have to live there for 6 months. You have to be a resident for 6 months before you can compete. And so that's how I was able to compete.
So there you go. And then what did he forgive you when you were third runner-up at Miss America?
The articles changed really interestingly. My mom made a hilarious, well, I shouldn't say it's hilarious, but she made a great scrapbook for me that it's kind of the three phases. It's like Manhattan won in Brooklyn, and then it was Manhattan by way of Brooklyn is Miss New York, Virginia by way of, Manhattan and Brooklyn has won Miss New York. I mean, these were all the titles, and it was in the Brooklyn paper. I saw myself I was sitting on the train,
yes,
on the subway. I saw a man with the Brooklyn paper, and it was my swimsuit. I was on the front of the page, and it was me in a swimsuit, and I thought, oh, wow, oh my gosh. I got off and got on the other car, or I just moved. But yeah, it was.
And you were runner-up in the swimsuit competition for Miss America, right?
No, I won.
Yeah, you won. Oh, hot bod alert.
Well, one of three. So we
Okay.
compete on different nights.
Oh, so we
isn't-
don't see that. We don't see that on the TV all the time.
No. So actually, I do think this is quite an interesting thing.
Yeah.
It's done by. They draw cards, and you're on a Zoom before Zoom was even Zoom. I don't even know what we were on, to be honest.
Skype?
Probably.
What people did.
Probably, to be honest.
Yes.
And we were all on there, and we were called pretty late. New York was called pretty late. And there's a lot of strategy in where you compete and perform, because my talent is probably my weakest set of what I do.
Okay.
Or weakest competition, I should say.
Well, with swimsuit, they choose your swimsuits that you wear?
They did.
Oh, really? So why did they give you black? Did you want to wear black?
No.
They just...
No. That was ugly. But you choose your order of competition.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So people get picked. A lot of people want to go last in their group. There are 3 groups. And
so where did you like to go?
I didn't know.
Was there a strategy that your mom would tell you to do?
No. It wasn't my mom. So I worked with Kate Schindel, and she was like, hey, let's be clear. We both know your talent. And this is not a put down from her. She knew what my strengths were, and she said,
she sounds like a good coach.
Yeah, she's great. She's like, your talent is not your strongest suit. Let's compete in talent. We competed in a 10-minute interview.
What were the questions you were asked?
Oh, gosh, I don't even remember, to be honest. I keep asking for it. Actually, Miss America, I keep asking for my interview.
Miss America, Lee Taylor would like
I
her
really
interview
would like
on
my
tape.
interview on tape.
What would you have changed? We don't know.
I don't think I would change anything.
Yeah.
I felt super confident coming out. Kate had me so prepared for that.
Okay.
I mean, I felt very prepared.
Good.
But the first night then was talent. And it's not my strongest, but I had to pick. Had all these options. She's like, you're going to go second and tell it. So that was second out of all competitors.
So they don't break it over 3 nights.
It is.
Okay,
But everyone competes, and so some people compete in talent, some are doing swimsuit, so everyone wins awards different night. She's like, compete in talent the first night. They haven't, not to be naughty. She was like, but no one's seen any talent. Like, no talents have gone yet, so go.
Yes.
And so I competed, and then.
What song did you sing?
I sang something called "Say the Word" by a Broadway
duo
that created this amazing
songs.
not just songs, but like a show. But now it's morphed into a different show. It's awesome though, but it was called Say the Word.
Say the Word's the name of the show and the song.
No, the song. It was called
the
The
show?
Unauthorized Biography of Samantha Brown.
Okay.
And now it's called Mad Ones.
We're gonna watch it?
And now it's called Mad Ones.
Okay.
And it's really brilliant. They're both Kate Kerrigan and Brian Laudermilk, and he worked with me, brought me into a studio, and was just super amazing. He was awesome.
So you had a coach. Is this the song you sang for years, or is it the song you just did for Miss America or Miss New York?
Just for Miss America. This was Miss America. So, yeah, Kate was actually in Legally Blonde on Broadway at that time. So the one that was helping me pick my songs and work on all of those things with me. And I popped into her stage door just to grab a couple of CDs with songs. What am I doing? I'm here with Miss America's giving me these songs. I can't believe it.
So wait, Kate was in Miss America too?
Yes, she was the one from 1998 that was the AIDS activist.
Oh, this one. This is Kate. Okay.
She's brilliant, and
we didn't put that part
she's
together.
No.
Kate, your coach, was the 1998 Miss America winner.
She's a path. Like she's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds that way. Obviously I don't personally know her, but she sounds like she's also a badass.
She'd be a badass to have on here, to be honest.
Okay, come on
She's
over.
much cooler than me.
I don't know about that.
No, but I picked up these CDs and, so that's how I got my songs. But that's how she strategized it for me, is to leave on your highest note. So the last night would be my highest note before finals.
So what was in that was swimsuit?
That would be my swimsuit, because it had been working. Not anymore. But
2
it
kids,
did.
a lot of life.
After 2 kids, it's not the same. No, but it worked, and she was like, also you feel confident in that space. So
for sure,
do that, and then there was a night off, and then it was finals night. So she's like, end on a high note.
Yes, totally. And then you have all the media buzz behind you because you had just won your night of swimsuit.
That's fun.
That's awesome. Good for you. Okay, so but with then when you were you won the Brooklyn Miss New York, was that the same song? Did you have to keep the same song?
No.
Okay.
I
There's
changed.
so many rules and things. I just want to tell us everything.
I know. No rules there.
Okay.
So you can change your song, and I actually changed my song after Miss New York to go to Miss America.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so that's when I got those CDs from her, from some of this original music and such. It was great, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the friendships that you made during the Miss America pageant or just being Miss New York. I'm sure they're both separate friendships, same friendships. Like, do you start meeting other Miss of States before, like right away when you win your title of Miss New York?
It takes a little bit. I feel like it takes a little bit of time, but yes, you do. And we were on a reality show, so we lived on the Queen Mary for almost 3 weeks together.
Oh my goodness! Tell us all the juicy details.
So we were on teams. They split us onto 4 different teams.
Nothing like a good competition.
Nothing like a great competition. And I was on the blue team. I had an awesome group of girls.
Who was your team on the blue team?
Oh gosh, I have to remember all of them. I can't remember all of them, but I had West Virginia.
Who's still your friend who might be listening? She might be. She knew you were doing that. Miss West Virginia knew that you were on today. She might be listening.
She wrote me something really, actually, I think, pretty powerful about the sisterhood. And that was really California was one of the girls. I mean, we had who were all in Utah? There were, now I'm forgetting. I mean, there were girls that were still in college. So they were actually studying on the boat. They had tutors, so they were off and doing things. Yeah. I wasn't in college. I should have been working. It would have been nice to make a check, but I wasn't. Okay. And so we were on there. It was awesome. It was really fun, and the relationships are it's just like you would feel in Pi Phi.
Yeah.
There are girls that you're going to vibe with.
Yeah.
There are girls you're not going to vibe with, and that doesn't mean you don't like them. It's just we're not.
It's just not similar spirits.
I mean, Pi Phi, let's say. We all love each other. Yeah, exactly. But it's not as similar. Yeah, it totally.
Sister bond.
Yeah, sister bond. And West Virginia, Kayla, one of the greatest people.
Where in West Virginia is she from?
Oh gosh, why are you asking?
I mean, I love West Virginia.
Why
It's like
am
one of
I
my favorite places.
I don't know.
All these
I
different
don't know her
questions.
town. Oh, Kayla, I'm sorry.
Kayla.
I'm sorry.
That's how
Kayla.
most people feel about West
Kayla, I'm
Virginia, but
sorry.
I know I have some listeners in West Virginia, so I'm just going to say we love you, West
Sorry,
Virginia.
we do. I love my girl. My one of my greatest friends is Miss Vermont. She won talent the night I won swimsuit, but we had just bonded.
What was her talent? Do you
Immediately?
remember?
She sang "God Bless America" because they actually
goodness.
took her. Her talent didn't get approved, meaning the song couldn't be played on TV.
Because it was God Bless
The track,
America?
no. The track couldn't be, and so then she did "God Bless America" a cappella and won. And then I married my sister-in-law was DC, and I married her husband's brother.
But they weren't married yet. So tell us that.
No, she
let's start-
introduced
That was
us.
so fast. Let's start at the beginning of how you met Paul.
Yeah.
And
that was interesting. Yeah.
so Miss DC became one of your friends, but was she dating Paul's brother at the time?
She was, and she'd been dating him for, I want to say, for a couple of years, I believe, yeah.
Okay, so you met Miss DC. Were you guys on the cruise ship together?
Kate Marie was on that ship with me, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so was she on Blue Team or no?
No, she was not on my team. But we all did things
Hang out.
together, yeah.
Okay, so Kate, and then she was in DC, and then how'd you meet Paul? Like, did she introduce you after the thing?
So Steve, my brother-in-law and her husband now, Steve, he lived in New York, and he lived with Paul at the time. And so she's got to meet my boyfriend's brother.
That was it.
Well, I had been dating someone. So, yes, but it was it. It was it.
So you were dating someone.
No,
then you meet Paul.
not when I met Paul. No, actually, this is if you want the juicy. So this guy wouldn't buy. I went to college with him, and really great guy. He's a good guy, but he didn't buy tickets to come to Miss America. And we were like, why? And he was financially stable, so it was fine. That's what's going on. And he was like, I can't. He'd already broken up with me once.
Yeah.
He actually told me.
The juicy details. You've already started down the path. You gotta finish it.
And this, actually should not laugh at this. And I think a lot of women deal with this or have to take this on. It said, I think you're doing things that are bigger than like us, bigger than me, and I don't. And that's respectable.
That's totally. That's like a really good self-awareness.
Thank you for giving me that information. But it was after he wouldn't buy tickets to Miss America, which is also in itself completely fine. Like not a big deal.
Yes.
But I thought, okay, well that just doesn't feel. I always want someone to think that or my partner to propel me. I mean, Paul always wants to make me be better, and I'm sure your husband does as well.
Yeah.
Like, be better, do these things, like, do good. And so we broke up. And then I met Paul.
And here you are.
And
so what is it, 10 years? 11
We've
years?
been married for 11, but we've been together for 15 now.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And 2 kids.
2 kids.
Smith and Xander.
That's crazy.
Smith is in my daughter's class. They're besties.
I think mainly because he gives her fruit roll-ups.
It's true. He does. You are a better packer of lunches than I am. Blaze is like, Mom, you literally don't give any of the good snacks.
No, Blaze told I just have to say, Blaze told Smith the other day, your mom didn't text my mom back about a play date. And we laughed so hard. We couldn't stop laughing. And Paul, or not Xander or Paul, Smith was like, Mom, you got to text her back.
That's so funny. I might have said that, but we were talking.
I know. I said we actually chatted.
Exactly.
But we're good.
So we got to get a play date scheduled.
Yeah, like, clearly.
Okay, so just let's get back to. Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to take the crown out of the box and show the crown. Was this the Miss
it's
New
not
York
on,
crown? Did you get one at Miss America? Do you guys have to wear crowns, or do you wear your Miss New York crowns in the evening dress competition?
No, you didn't really wear them. Look how my kids have taken this to show and tell, and it's missing half the stones. But this is it.
Yes.
And I actually didn't know. So this stone goes in the front.
Okay.
And there's no stone in the back.
There
And
you
it
go.
sits on your head better that way, I guess. I don't know.
We're wearing fake tiaras right now, guys.
I'm feeling great.
In an effort to just, be a part of the Miss America craze right now.
Yeah, so that's that. And then there is, I actually did bring this. This is in the box as well. It's just the, this is a preliminary one. So you can see, and then the Miss America one's a lot different too. So this one doesn't have the bottom base to it.
Okay.
It looks ridiculous. It's missing half its stuff because my kids have played with it, but yeah.
That's so cool. And you have your sash as well.
Sash as well.
You don't have to pull it out unless you'd like to.
It's very, well, I will pull it out because I am proud of how dirty it is. This is how much my kids have not played with this. It stayed in the box, but it's how dirty it got while I was
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful.
Miss New York, though, but it just is so dirty, and it got dirty because I was traipsing around town doing work in it. So.
Yeah, riding the subway in it,
yeah.
Putting it down.
I know. I put that in the bag when I got on the train.
For anyone who's not watching the show live with video, it's a Miss America sash that is Miss New York. It has class of 2008 on the top.
It does, yes.
And then it's all bedazzled. Very gorgeous. I would have loved to see you on the subway wearing it.
I never wore it on the train.
And just as we were starting to wrap up a little bit, can you talk to us about, you had said about this feeling average in high school and then going on to do something extraordinary. What's some advice that you have and that you think others took away from being in Miss America pageant?
I'm not totally confident I did anything extraordinary. I think I worked to meet a goal that I had wanted to achieve.
Yep.
I do believe one thing that we can tell kids is to constantly, and it sounds so silly to say out loud, but to believe in who they are, because we try to mold our kids often into what we want them to be or what they think they should be, what they can be, but the directive really comes from them. And then encouraging them in that path forward. Some things, my oldest, my 9-year-old loves baseball. I don't know anything about baseball, but I've learned it, and I will cheer him on every day at the ball field. If he decides he doesn't love it, we'll find something else he does. I just believe encouraging them on that path. And I encourage, the Lisa Smiths of the world. My mom, I never saw her stand up like this, ever, 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 to anyone. She is the nicest, the most warm human being. But when that college counselor told me I couldn't get into the University of Virginia, my mom said, "We're done. Thank you so much for your time." I'd gone to that school for almost 7 years.
Yeah. And
she said, "Thank you so much for your time." She was very polite and walked out, and she knew it could happen.
Yeah.
So I just think just believing in our kids at the end of the day, and we will all feel average. This is a long answer, but we'll all feel average at times, and we will be average at things. There are things that we're going to be average.
I was below average at my one pageant I walked into.
No, we're all going to be average at some things.
Yes.
We have to find our strengths.
For sure.
Encourage your kids at their strengths, but also encourage them in being average.
Yeah.
So I would say that would be it. I would say one of the things that I appreciated the most during this whole process was meeting people I would never have met before, and then getting encouraged to do something that they were pursuing. I ran a couple of marathons pregnant with my kids, but it was because these people were doing it that were blind, and that I got to chat with, and that were blind and have someone that runs with them. Like, oh my gosh, what's my excuse?
Yeah.
I think it's that.
Yeah.
Every day, all day, is just saying to your kids, and you don't have to win it.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's like a diatribe, and I think it's because my kids are 9 and 5, and I'm like, how do we like get through this. But
I think that's all. I mean, that's great, and that's applicable to even if you don't have children, and even if you are just
Totally,
struggling with
totally.
yourself about am I average or what can I accomplish to be a better version of myself.
Yeah.
And I think another question is right now. There's obviously a lot of stigma with things that are womanhood in nature, right? And I think Miss America is just like so inspiring. These women work hard. They have to be articulate. They have to have a talent. They have to have they have to have a look good, you know? I mean, like presentable. And that takes effort and a lot of hard work, but it's presenting you. Like that's like any job interview. You need to look presentable.
Yes.
You need to speak well. You need to be articulate and educated, or speak, your mind. Speaking your mind is debatable when it comes to your job, but should be able to speak your mind on your job. But like, what do you want to tell people and say? I'm for Miss America, and I feel like there's a lot of things that have not been for Miss America. But like, what would you tell people that?
I talked to my parents last night, and I truly believe it just was really informative because I said, okay, it was scholarship. I got to go back to school, at Parsons School of Design. I went to UVA, I paid for a lot of that schooling. What do you, though, think you paid for a lot of these clothes? What was beneficial out of this? What did, like, you changed, you got it, like, you figured it out.
Yeah.
And that's the Miss America organization. One of the Miss West Virginia said it's a people community. It's not about, you compete on stage, she said, for 4 minutes and then 10 minutes in an interview. What do you gain out of, you gain a ton out of the preparation for that, but what gets you there? It's the preparation, and how do you leave? And that, I believe, it's the greatest thing you can get out of the Miss America organization. You don't have to win. Now, do you want to? Yeah. So, yeah, of course you do, and don't go thinking you're not going to, but don't. You gotta take that community out with you and the people that you love with you. I'm leaving I shouldn't make this longer, but I'm leaving for California tomorrow, where we lived for 7 years, and there was a girl in Miss New York. Oh, we're off. But in Miss New York, or 2 people from Miss New York organization that I love that are in their 60s, and they're going to be out there. They're out there. And I get to see them and go to a fundraiser with them. And that's the community that you gain with Miss America organization.
And we have about 4 minutes. We got our 4-minute warning from
Oh,
Judah
okay.
over
4
here.
minutes.
Yeah, so we can finish it, tie a bow around it. I think there's just so much to learn from this. You followed your dreams and you stuck with it, and you had determination, and you were in a harder competition to be a part of than the Super Bowl, which is just so impressive. And I think also you have Olympic athletes, you have people that are working, corporate athletes, right? And how hard people have to work to just show up and be successful at their jobs every day.
100%.
And this is what you just stuck with something, you made a goal, and you made it a reality. And it sounds like your mom lit a little fire under your tush, but
Yeah, well, that was definitely accurate. yeah.
And so I think, what is just to finish the show, since we only have a minute left, tell us what's next for you. You're a great mom, and I know you're focusing on that.
You're very kind. I work a lot with the school at St. Anne's Belfield.
Thank you for
and
all you do.
I love the community there. But I am going to go back to work. I worked while I was in California, and we did just relocate here about 18 months ago, and I'm excited to get back to work. I do signage and event planning, and I'm going to get back into that. It's just, sometimes it takes a little bit to just get back into the groove of things, especially moving somewhere new.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Well, thank you so much, Lee Taylor Sigfusson,
You got it.
for joining us and telling us that, hey, it's okay to be average at some things, and you're going to figure out what you're extraordinary at in other things. So we really appreciate you coming on. Love you, mean it, friends. Thanks for watching. As always, write me a message if there's a topic you'd like to hear, if you'd like to come on the show, and I'd love to have you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Do we wear these to pick up?